Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is another music haul I'm doing. This is the weekend of November the 13th, Friday the 13th, 14th and 15th. I'm going to start with some new releases I bought. Well, actually one new release. And then, like new CDs, not really anything used. Then I have some vinyl, and then we'll give away any sneak previews there. Some vinyl, and then I'm going to be doing some dollar finds. First up, I think we all know this by now, AC/DC released a new album. This is Power Up. Amazing album, really, really good. This is the Target exclusive I grabbed. It comes with a sticker pack, which has a sticker of the cover, little Power Up sign, and I believe it was a sticker of Angus. 12 tracks, really, really good. The lead single, Shot in the Dark's been playing on the radio and social media, and great album by AC/DC. Not that these guys ever really put out a bad album, but I mean, I would say right now this is probably the best since Ballbreaker, and with a few more listens, I'm probably gonna say it's their best album since The Razor's Edge. But Brian Johnson era, which I don't want to say I'm not a fan of it, but I'm a huge fan of Bon Scott. But definitely Brian Johnson era, this is amazing. Next up, album gets shit on a lot. I actually really like it for the for an 80s album from AC/DC. This is Fly on the Wall. Had to get the remastered digipack edition. I think the title track that opens up is really heavy, and I like this album. I don't know why it's not more of a fan favorite. Next, another album I've always owned on vinyl. This is Lynyrd Skynyrd, One More from the Road. Unfortunately, this is the only official live album that they released with the original band before they passed away in the plane crash. This is a 2012 European import. It is the deluxe edition, which is usually available in a digipack. This is in a jewel case. Next, Electric Light Orchestra. This is a New World record. A lot of bonus tracks on here, 6 bonus tracks. Obviously, these guys are this came out in 76, I believe. Yeah, 1976. These guys were huge back in the 70s, still being played on the radio today. This has some huge hits on there, such as Telephone Line, Living Thing, and Do Ya, which I'm sure everyone knows. Another remastered CD I grabbed. This is Left Overture by Kansas. And Kansas I've really been getting into a lot lately. This is the 2001 remaster. As I said, I was trying to get into more prog rock, and for some reason I never really put Kansas up there as prog rock, but they definitely are. Features Carry On My Wayward Son, which is an amazing song. Always loved it. Never gets played out for me. And yeah, there's some heavy stuff on here, especially the opus that ends in the magnum opus. All right, I'm gonna do the vinyl next. There's a couple of albums I grabbed, and I didn't take these out of the clear sleeve, but all my vinyl I buy, I put them in these plastic sleeves just to protect them. This is Tarkus. Sorry for the glare there, but I didn't want to take them out of plastic. I guess I was lazy. This is Emerson, Lake and Palmer's sophomore album. Again, more prog rock. Definitely proggier than their debut, in my opinion. Then we got a guy you may have heard of from a band you might have heard of, John Lennon. This is his covers album. This is called Rock and Roll. Basically, he does covers of basically 50s tracks. A lot of it is produced by Phil Spector, some produced by Lennon. Features the hit cover of Stand By Me, which is originally recorded by Benny King. But yeah, basically, 50s and very, very early 60s tracks on here. I like it. I think it's pretty cool to hear John Lennon sing these 50s songs, because I'm definitely a fan of 50s rock and roll. Next up, 38 Special Forces. This opens up with Caught Up in You, which was a huge MTV video, huge hit back in, I believe this is 82, I'm sorry, 1982. Sorry for the glare there. Pretty cool cover art. Definitely reminds you of those 80s movies. And like the small towns, kind of like a main street there. And this 38 Special, I guess it's supposed to be a gun coming out of the ground, or a train or something. Last vinyl I grabbed, Steel Wheels by the Rolling Stones. Now I used to own this on vinyl. This I'm gonna take out, actually show you the cover sleeve, because the cover art's pretty cool. This I used to own on vinyl. I remember I paid like over 20 bucks for it, and unfortunately I had to get rid of it. This isn't that easy to find on vinyl. This is actually the only second time I found this on vinyl. The first time I bought it, I found it online on eBay. And like I said, it was over 20 bucks. The reason it's kind of rare is because it was released in '89. Excuse me. And CDs were like the main currency of music then. And, you know, vinyl wasn't a big seller, so a lot of these probably weren't sold. A lot of these weren't produced. But Steel Wheels, an underrated album by the Stones. I always liked it. I grew up with this. This was like the album, all the recent album by the Stones. When I was growing up, before Voodoo Lounge was released in '94. And this is the last album they would record with Bill Wyman, the bass player, before he would retire. And like I said, great song, great album. I always liked it. All right, next up we're getting into the kind of discounted dollar finds I grabbed. And remember, I'm a CD collector, I'm a music collector, so some of this stuff I may not even listen to. But it's an artist I respect, an artist I like. It could be an album that's known as a classic album, a big seller, and if I didn't own it, I grabbed it. And all this stuff cost me about 15 bucks altogether. So this is like dollar and under finds. Found at this little store in Jersey, like that Deptford, New Jersey. I forget what it's called. It's kind of like a buy-sell trade store, kind of like a pawn shop, but they also have a lot of sports cards in there, and they run like UPS and FedEx and mailing systems. But anyway, this is Eric Clapton, Reptile. This is from 2001. More of a bluesy pop album. I know he did a lot of pop albums, pop rock albums in the 90s, late 90s specifically, but this is more of a bluesy pop album. Next up, Little Feat. This is without Lowell George. This is Let It Roll, 1988 release. Always like the cover art there. And when I first got into Little Feat, I didn't realize this was without Lowell George and released so late in their career. I thought it was one of their 70s albums. Next is Bruce Springsteen, not his finest album. This is Tunnel of Love. This is Bruce solo, No E Street Band. Really one hit on here, Brilliant Disguise, which was played on MTV a lot back in the 80s. And I feel like as a follow-up to Born in the USA, this just didn't really cut it. Excuse me. Next, Paul Simon. This is kind of a greatest hits collection. This is called Negotiations and Love Songs from 1971 to 1986. So basically, it collects all his hits from his debut album up until Graceland. Next, Bob Seger, decent album from 1991. There's some good songs on here. Mixed reviews from critics. The Fire Inside is basically like the only hit off of here, the most well-known song off of here. And a lot of covers of, I think there's like 2 or 3 covers of Tom Waits off of here. Another greatest hits album. This is James Taylor's greatest hits. This is the first greatest hits album, which was released in '76. And I only own Sweet Baby James by James Taylor, which is, you know, probably his best album. And yeah, 12 tracks on here, basically all, you know, all the hits you'll know. Caroline in My Mind, great song. Fire and Rain, Sweet Baby James, You've Got a Friend, How Sweet It Is, Mexico. But you know, this is a big seller, so a lot of people, your parents probably own it. Next up, another one by Clapton. This is more of a poppy album. This is Pilgrim, released in '98. Had hits My Father's Eyes on here. And I believe there's a song written by Dylan on here. But yeah, this is more of a poppy album, more like a pop rock, late '90s, adult contemporary music. Not really the slow hand Clapton that we all love. Speaking of love, this is Love Elvis. Whenever I find an official Elvis release, I have to grab it. I love Elvis. As if I don't own it. 24 tracks on here. As you can tell by the title, Love Elvis. This is basically all love songs, but a lot of hits on here, like Are You Lonesome Tonight, Can't Help Falling in Love, Always on My Mind, Love Me Tender, I Want You, I Need You, I Love You, which is probably my favorite Elvis track. And I'm not going to name them all, but a cool release that came out in 2005. Next, Mick Jagger. We all know who that guy is. This is his, I believe, his last solo album he put out back in 2001. This is God Is in the Doorway. God Gave Me Everything was actually a hit for the Jagger this late in his career, solo career. I remember the video being played on VH1 a lot. I'm sure MTV played it, but yeah, VH1 would play that in their like top 10 or 20 countdown, whatever they did. I forget. Next up, since it's November, Christmas is coming. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas music, only certain stuff. But this just seemed cool. This is Chicago. Chicago Christmas. What's it going to be? Santa? Slipcase there. 20 tracks, and it's was basically new. It still had the wrapper on it. I took it off, and I just want to give it a listen. And this is a 1998 version of Chicago, so no Peter Cetera on it. All right, Billy Joel. As you know from other videos, I'm not a huge fan of him, but this is a classic album. 52nd Street, released in 1978, a huge seller for Billy Joel. He was really big at this time. Features the hits Big Shot, Honesty, My Life. Excuse me. Another one of the biggest albums of all time by Billy Joel. This is The Stranger. Definitely his greatest album, his biggest selling album. It reads almost like a greatest hits. Moving Out, The Stranger, The Way You Are, Scenes from Italian Restaurant, Vienna, Only the Good Die Young, She's Always a Woman, Get It Right the First Time, and Everybody's a Dream. Right there, you got about 7 hits from one album, so that's pretty cool. Next up, Robert Plant, obviously the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. This is Now and Zen, features the hit Tall Cool One, released in 1988. And I don't really own anything by Robert Plant solo, only the stuff with Page. Unfortunately, I used to have this box set, and I don't know what happened to it. I no longer have it. I can't find it anymore. Aerosmith, one of my favorite bands, Pandora's Box, and this was only the first disc. They didn't have the other 2 discs. The box set is a 3-disc collection, available in a long box and also a double jewel case. But this is like 50 cents, so I figured I'll grab this. Hold me off until I actually can find the box set. Or if I can find the other 2 discs, I will, but I like the box set with the booklet. Another album I've owned most of my life, and I don't know what happened to it. I didn't have it in my Discogs collection, but I might have it somewhere. Wildflowers by Tom Petty. This was his second solo album without the Heartbreakers. Released in '94. Features the huge hit, You Don't Know How It Feels. One of my favorite Tom Petty songs, You Wreck Me. Honeybee on here is great. Crawling Back to You, and of course the title track, Wildflowers. Next we got Steely Dan, Alive in America. This is a live album from 1995. Kind of a cool live shot there. I'm not sure. I guess it looks like the Grand Canyon. Pretty cool. We have Heart, Bad Animals. Their late 80s album, 87, I believe. 87. Features Alone, which is huge. I don't really know Heart in the 80s. I know the hit songs, but not the albums, so I'll check it out. Another one by Clapton. I think I own this also, but my Discogs collection didn't say I owned it, so I guess I gotta keep that a little tighter. But anyway, cheap price. This is Journeyman. Very bluesy album for Clapton, released in '89. And I guess the big track off here is Before You Accuse Me, which ends it, the cover. Next we have probably an album or a guy I wouldn't buy his music from. This is Time Flies, the best of Huey Lewis and the News. Kind of a guilty pleasure, right? A couple cool tracks on here. I was watching A Wedding Singer with my girlfriend over the weekend, and well, Friday night. And I believe Do You Believe in Love was in that. And had me thinking of him when I saw this. I go, huh. Kind of a guilty pleasure song, I'll grab it. Next up, I feel like this is the Hall of Fame. For the album, you'll find in every bargain bin, every dollar bin, anything cheap, every thrift store, you'll always find a CD. I owned it once. It was scratched. I got rid of it. But there are some decent tracks on here, and he's from one of my favorite bands, Don Henley. This is The End of Innocence. Obviously features the title track and The Heart of the Matter, which is a cool song. I liked it from the 80s. Kind of a guilty pleasure also, but like I said, Don Henley from the Eagles, and can't go wrong. Such a great singer. Greatest Hits by Velvet Underground. This is the best of Words of Music of Lou Reed. And this is cool because it kind of features a lot of like late tracks that were on VU. 6 tracks off of the Velvet Underground and Eco. White Light, White Heat's on here. A couple stuff off of Load It, and obviously the self-titled album. Next we have, I gotta change this case, it's a little beat up. Graceland by Paul Simon, his 86 album, which was huge. Won him a lot of Grammys. I believe this was Album of the Year in 86. Graceland was a hit. Diamonds in the Sole of Her Shoes, and one of my favorite songs, You Can Call Me Al. Such a cool, funny video with Chevy Chase in it. Although I'm not really a Chevy Chase fan, but I thought the video was pretty cool. Next, I'm going to hurry this along, get kind of long. Neil Young, Are You Passionate? This is a 2002, I believe, release. Yeah, 2002 release by Neil Young. Later album by Neil Young. Joe Jackson, kind of a cool, iconic cover I always liked. Look Sharp, obviously, Is She Really Going Out With Him was on here. Surprisingly, I don't own any Pat Benatar. This is a cool one to grab to start me off. This is In the Heat of the Night. This is one of her, I don't believe this is her debut album. I should have looked it up. Excuse me. But this is one of her early albums, features a big hit, Heartbreaker. Next up, Rod Stewart, Downtown Train. This is selections from the Storyteller anthology. I'm a big fan of Rod Stewart in his very, very early 70s. The stuff he did with the Jeff Beck Group, stuff he did with Faces. Stay With Me, which is a great, great track, is on here. This opens it up. A lot of the 80s stuff, which is too poppy, dancey. People Get Ready with Jeff Beck is on here. Yeah, that's about it, but decent price to have a couple tracks on there. Next up is a CD CD series I would never buy. This is the 10 Best series, but this is Billy Squier. But the price is right, and there's some stuff on there from his late 80s albums, which I'll probably never own, but I want to listen to them. So it has a lot of great songs on here. Obviously, it opens up at Rock Me Tonight, which I love, and he gets a lot of shit for it because of the video, but I think it's a great song. Another album, which I don't know what happened to it, was in my Discogs. This is Into the Great Wide Open, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, 1991 album. Tom Petty was pretty big in the late 80s. He did the Traveling Wilburys, obviously, with Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and George Harrison. He had Full Moon Fever, his first solo album, without the Heartbreakers, which was huge. And then this was his return with the Heartbreakers, and huge hit. The title track was amazing, Into the Great Wide Open. And he made these epic videos at the time. And after this, he would also make another epic video with Mary Jane's Last Dance, which would come from the Greatest Hits album in '93. I got 3 more to get through real quick. Another one by Neil Young. This is Silver and Gold. I believe I used to own this. This is 2000 release. And this I never owned for some reason. This is Traveling Wilburys. This is volume 3. There is no volume 2 because Roy Orbison died. So they kind of just wanted to disband it. And they had some problems with the record company. So after volume 1, they somehow signed a deal for 3 albums. And, kind of be just smart ass. They named this volume 3, saying, hey, we got volumes 1 through 3. Even though it's only 2 albums. Not as strong as volume 1. I feel like this was kind of rushed together. Basically because they didn't want to make the album. But with these 4 guys, I don't think it's possible for them to make bad music. So still definitely listenable. And last album, 2 guys from one of the greatest bands of all time. Jimmy Page, Robert Plant. This is Walking in the Clarksdale. This is their 1998 studio album. They kind of got together after the Unplugged album they did, the Unleaded. So they made a studio album after that. And Jimmy Page also, he did these studio albums that never really caught on. He also did Coverdale Page, which was with David Coverdale from Deep Purple and Whitesnake, which is an amazing album. And I think that's going to be re-released in a remaster. Also, he did some stuff with The Firm with Paul Rodgers from Bad Company and Free. And like I said, another thing, just like the Traveling Wilburys, these 2 guys can't make bad music, so definitely worth listening. Alright, so that was my music haul for this past weekend. And unfortunately, a lot of record stores are going out of business. Here in Philadelphia, they released some new crazy restrictions where, like, no more than 5 people can be in a store at a time. Everyone must work from home unless not possible. Curfew is 10 o'clock. All bars, restaurants have to close down. And, it's crazy. It's killing the economy. It's killing people's livelihood for a disease that has a very high survival rate. And, yeah, I get it. It can't be taken lightly. One makes you think, is it a political thing? But I'm not getting into politics here. We're here for music. Anyway, I'm just saying I don't want to see any more record stores go out of business or, anybody lose their job, lose their business, go bankrupt. It's just not right. I miss the days when you could just go to record stores and they were all over the place. You could buy music brand new, and it's kind of hard. Even Walmart's, the past couple of Walmarts and Targets I've been to, a lot of Targets don't even have a music section. Other Targets have one little end cap with new releases. Same thing with Walmart. The last couple of Walmarts that had an actual aisle, well, half aisle of CDs, have a just an end cap of big selling greatest hits like the Eagles and Leonard Skinner and stuff like that, and a couple new releases. So yeah, it's kind of sad. Best Buy did away with it. Obviously, Tower Records is no more. Been out of business about 14 years now, but they did come back on online, TowerRecords.com. And also FYE, one of the last music stores in the mall, they're kind of just filled with this Funko stuff and these t-shirts and toys, DVDs, which actually are kind of dwindling down also. Just, kind of pop culture stuff that I don't want to say it, but I know I don't see FYE lasting much longer, and their CD sections is very, very small. Like a small aisle that's divided in rock, pop, country, rap, jazz. It's just maybe like a 15-foot rack, and it's not much. So that's my rant. Thanks for watching. I have a Music of the Year video coming up. Excuse me. Soon this week, maybe tomorrow. But thanks for watching. Again, I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff on my Instagram, Gary of the Elysiums. Also on Facebook, Gary May. Post a lot of stuff on there, music related. Thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe. Like I said, there'll be weekly videos. Recently, I've been doing more than a video a week, so I want to get back to that. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.